Hello Moglets, today we're doing a video on who I regret raising. This was a sort of series I did for Epic 7 back in the day. People seem to enjoy it, so I thought I'd bring it to Genshin as well. I basically go through my characters, recall why I raised them, if that was a good idea in the long run, and basically some personal feelings around them. The title is a little exaggeratory, I will admit right now. Regret is a very strong word. But regardless, let's get on with it. Of course, we're starting with Xiao. I 100% regret raising her because I was doing Child the other day, and I ran up to him and did her Q, and all three phases didn't die instantaneously, so I was like, what the hell is the point of this character? On a serious note, of course, I don't regret raising Xiao. I do regret rushing Staff of Homa so much, as you may have seen in yesterday's video, but it had to be done for the showcase. I obviously really like Xiao. She is the newest of the Genshin heroes at the moment. Basically all of this week and half of last week was all about her, so there's not much to say right now. She's a Pyro main DPS. I raised her for DPS and because she's cute as hell. Obviously no regrets about Bennett either. I do believe he is definitely within the top 3, top 5 at worst heroes in the game. Because of his versatility, he's basically never not in my team. And why I initially raised Bennett was just because a lot of people requested me to. I hadn't actually even looked into him. I did raise him pretty early on, I guess. He was just, and I guess currently still is, just a super hype hero for being a 4-star. And that's why I raised him mainly, and yeah, I kind of fell in love with him, no homo, but still. Zhongli I did actually regret a little bit in the beginning, just because he was a little underwhelming. After his buffs, of course, you know, no regrets anymore. He is very often in my team as well. Mine with Favonius Lance here gets his ult super quick. I can just spam that and it does good damage, and he provides shields, which also reduce the enemy's resistances. He's kind of on the same scale as Bennett now with all of his utility. Why I raised him at first was half just because he was a new hero and, you know, I want to raise the new heroes and show them off. But also out of all the husbandos, he probably tickles my fancy the most. That sounds really weird. Still no homo, but never mind. Then we have Chi-Chi. She is only level 70, but I guess at 70 I consider them raised, especially for healers where they don't necessarily need a high level. Again, absolutely no regrets when it comes to Chi-Chi. She is also almost always in my team. I actually got Chi-Chi a bit later into the game after I already had a beast of a Barbara, and basically I raised her firstly as just an upgrade to Barbara, but also I find Chi-Chi really cute, so that was another reason. That's not to say Barbara isn't cute. I like them both. Then we have Venti. I'm actually not using him very much these days. Obviously no regrets about raising him because I used him a lot in the beginning. He was one of my first 5-stars, like he was many first 5-stars for people that started playing when the game launched. And he's finally coming back for anyone that wants him, which is Pog. And to be honest, the main reason I raised him, it was just because he was like one of my first 5-stars, and it's like, it's a 5-star, obviously gotta raise it, right? I mean, I've raised all of my 5-stars, so I would have raised him had I got him more recently also. But yeah, Venti is super unique, mainly because of his ult here, pulling in all the enemies. I know a couple of other characters can pull in enemies like Sucrose and Jean, basically the other Animo units, but his is like massive, big, lasts a while. Did I say massive and big? Also, of course, you know, he has a super short cooldown on his E, which can take advantage of the Viridescent set, which is a very strong set. Yeah, you know, very nice character. So now we're getting into the main DPSs, Ganyu, Kaching, Diluc, Xiao. It doesn't make much sense to use, you know, one of these 4, and then there's Xiao also, which is the main DPS in the same team. So a lot of these I haven't actually been using for a while. I still have absolutely no regrets about Ganyu. I'm sure I will use her again as a main DPS. It kind of just depends on what content I'm doing. You know, certain domains she's gonna be better than Xiao. To be honest, at first I was a little skeptical about her main DPS capabilities. Just like on paper, she seemed she'd be more suited as a support, you know, doing her E, her really long lasting Q, swap out to some Pyro to do some melts or whatever. But in my case, she definitely fits a lot better as a main DPS, and that's how I've been using her since I have gotten her. Being a cryo main DPS is really advantageous because of the Blizzard Strayer set by itself. You know, she needs almost no crit rate in ideal situations, so she can have a massive amount of crit damage. She's a really nice character, and also bow users are fun to use every now and then if you want a change of pace. Then we have Kaching, my beloved Kaching. She was the actual first 5-star I got. She's been my main DPS for longer than anyone. I've easily used her more than anyone else. Right now, a lot of the spotlight is going to the new heroes, you know, Ganyu, Xiao, but she'll always be the #1 waifu in my heart. I know I said Xiao is my favorite in a recent video, but Kaching will always be #1 because Kaching is my super favorite, not just a regular favorite like Xiao. She's my super favorite. That works, don't at me. I instantly fell in love with her lightning stiletto here when I first tried it out, like on the first day of the game. And of course, being my first 5-star, I raised her. No regrets to this day, obviously. I've had a lot of different weapons for her. Right now, she's holding onto the black sword again, because again, she's not in my team very often. But yeah, I actually raised Primordial Jade Cutter for her specifically. It's on Bennett right now, because again, Bennett's in my team, she isn't. First it was Lion's Roar, then we went to Black Sword, then Primordial Jade Cutter. If there's one character I can kind of say I regret raising, however, it has to be Diluc. I don't know, man. I've tried my best with this guy. I just can't get a good feeling for him. I'm not sure why. He is strong. I don't know. I don't like playing with him. He's level 90. He has one of the very few 5-star weapons I have, Wolf's Gravestone. I pulled it while trying to get Homa, and then I was like, whatever, may as well. Why I raised him? I don't know, it's Diluc. Like, everyone dotes on Diluc, but like, I don't know, he's just not my character. It would still be too harsh to say I regret raising him, but like, if there was a reset button for heroes and then you can get all their stuff back, I'd probably do it on Diluc, honestly. Then I wouldn't have anyone to hold Wolf's Gravestone though. And I'm not even talking about damage output, like, you know, if he's not doing enough damage, that's my fault, right? Because I know he is capable of, you know, incredible damage. So if I need to raise Water Dude back here, which I haven't gotten to yet, you know, to really bring out his potential, that's one thing. It's just his play style, I guess. I don't know. I just could never get a feel for it. Then we have Xiao. I honestly haven't used him much either since I raised him, but again, being a main DPS, this just kind of comes down to having a bunch of other main DPSs and heroes kind of coming out a little too fast, so focuses on Hu Tao for now, and he gets kind of left behind. Also because I did not get Primordial Jade Cutter, so he was kind of stuck with Deathmatch, which is, I guess, okay, but still at 454 base attack at max, it hurts. So that mainly comes down to failing to get the Primordial Spear for him. I probably said Jade Cutter, whatever. He does a really good amount of damage with plunge spam, even with Deathmatch, so his damage output is fine. I actually like his gameplay. It's fast, you know, with his dashing ease and everything. It's just for now, I just kind of like Hu Tao more, and also she has Staff of Homa, which is a really good weapon for her. So I won't say I regret raising Xiao, but yeah, he is definitely in the back seat for now. Then we have Mona. She was my second 5-star after Kaching. Do not regret raising her. I actually still often have her in my team. I haven't actually gotten her 6th star yet. I'm probably gonna do that soon actually. I've been having her in my team a lot these days. Halfway because she pairs really nice with Ganyu, being able to freeze them and everything. She also pairs well with Hu Tao for Vaporize. She was literally in my team the other day. I didn't even realize she's missing 2 artifacts. I'm so sorry, Mona. I gotta get Mona sorted. Again, I didn't change too much since I initially raised her. So yeah, there's just been so many new characters coming out and I'm trying to keep up, and it's hard to keep up, you know, having everyone in good stuff all the time. I really like Mona. The only thing I dislike about Mona is her dash still. I wish they would change that or have a toggle or something. It's really useful in some cases, but in actual battle, it's really hard to control. Like, she goes under water and it's weird, and then like she pops up. I can't get used to that. I've played with her a lot, but mainly these days I'm switching to her, using her E and switching out, or maybe doing her ult if it's ready. Because I don't even want to move with her unless I'm traveling somewhere. Now we're moving on to 4 stars. I actually don't have many of them raised. I don't know if I would even consider Sucrose at level 50 raised. She does have a sort of artifact pieces. I mainly raised her for Abyss 11, I believe, before I had Ganyu, because Ganyu is really good for that phase as well. She can snipe the enemies from far away and actually kill them rather quickly. I don't regret the little resources I put into her because she did really help me for that. Anyway, back on to Barbara. She was my first healer. I recently cannibalized her Thrilling Tales in a desperate attempt to max out Homa. I still feel so bad about that, and I hope I can get another Thrilling Tales for her. I actually still often use Barbara in places, although I probably can't right now without Thrilling Tales. Being a healer that can hold on to Thrilling Tales and not really need passives of these other books, right? And giving that massive attack boost to whoever swaps out was a really nice perk by itself, but you know, she's just a really nice healer as well, especially when you get her to C6, which isn't too hard as a 4-star, and she can revive a party member. I always kind of forget about that, and then, you know, when one of my characters dies and they just pop back up when I have Barbara on my team, it's always a nice little treat. Obviously no regrets with Barbs. As far as Shanling goes, I guess a little bit. I tried to put a lot into her. You can see she has her 6th star. Talents are actually decently high. She is C6. She's another one of those cases where I just couldn't really get a good feel for her play style, kind of like Diluc. I don't like her Guoba very much. You know, I place it down when it's off cooldown, but then it, like, I don't know, it's a stationary thing, and it's kind of like, I would say her Pyronado is her main, like, saving grace, really, her ult. It is quite strong and cool and whatever, it's just, I don't know, overall, I feel like what I've mainly been doing with Shanling is trying to make her work. I know she's missing something right now because I don't really use her anymore, but you know, I've put a decent amount of work into her. Tried to sort of make her a kind of main DPS for Abyss, and she was never really that good at that. With Crescent Pike here, and I had her like in full Gladiator at one point. Now it's a little bit messed up because again, artifacts get swapped around. Also just tried to make her Pyro, and it just didn't really work out. It could also just come down to the fact that I had a lot of other main DPSs to choose from once I had finally, like, you know, gotten her to a good point. Then it's just, she kind of gets thrown on the bench a bit. Then we have Noel, only at level 70. I had used her for a bit, like altogether though, probably not that much, but she was the one character I had at the time that could deal with that Geo Cube. Also, I used her for a while as a secondary healer in Abyss, and for that purpose, she served pretty good as well, actually. So obviously no regrets, she served her purpose. I have a lot more healers and things to choose from nowadays, which is always sad, you know. I'm sure I could still use Noel. I would just need to raise her more. I just don't really see much of a point right now. And those are pretty much all of my currently raised characters, besides that everyone is 40 or below, and yeah, I haven't done much with them. As for who I'm going to raise next, could be Water Dude. I still want to experience him and Diluc together. On the other hand, just hoarding resources for now, waiting for the next new character wouldn't be a bad idea either. So we can maybe avoid that resin slaughter that happened, just general inefficiencies. But yeah, I suppose that'll pretty much do it for today's video. Make sure to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Get subscribed if you're not subscribed yet, would very much appreciate it. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.